Hey there, welcome back to my... Oh crap, can you see me? What about now?
Man.
Not again. Why does this always happen? Hang on, let's try this. I forgot I was wearing the INFJ invisibility. Has that happened to you before? Where you feel completely invisible? Like people just can't seem to see you?
Hello? Hello?
Or where you don't feel heard, understood, almost like you're a shadow in the room. It truly sucks, hey? You'd be surprised to learn that this is pretty common among INFJs. And I think anyone really who feels a little bit different, like you just don't quite fit into the world, it's easy for people to overlook you. And yeah, it's such a feeling.
Such a feeling.
Let's talk about it for a bit. Why does this happen to INFJs? What the hell is going on here? For starters, I think there's two types of people with this. There's the ones that actually don't want to be seen, and being invisible is a positive thing for them because it's a survival mechanism. It keeps them safe, it keeps them from being hurt and rejected. And then for other people, they do want to be seen. They have thoughts and feelings and opinions that they want to be able to express to people, but they're just not being heard. And when you don't feel heard, it can evoke that feeling of anger because you're not being seen or heard, so it makes you feel angry. It just seems that when you do try and express your opinion and thoughts, people aren't really listening to you, or you're just not taken seriously. For those people, you might do just fine in that one-on-one situation, but once more people come into the group, and the bigger the group gets, the quieter you become. And the harder it is for you to actually be yourself, to take your mask off, and to be free in your personality and in your thoughts and opinions. You just become invisible and hidden. Our brains aren't able to keep up with the quick pace of a group situation. You know, when you're all chatting and talking about politics or whatever it is, you know you have something to say, but it just takes a while for your brain to process all the information. Plus, you want to be someone that's listening to everybody else's thoughts and opinions. You're almost expecting that those people would give you that same respect. While you're trying to process all this information, you're also trying to come up with this great answer of what you're going to share with the group. But by the time you do, the group has already changed the topic. Or if you do get a chance to speak up, for some reason our coherent thoughts aren't able to be expressed verbally. It just all comes out as mush. Oh yeah, that oh. When this happens, people just kinda nod their head and it's a bit awkward and cringy. Okay. Over time, you learn to just keep your mouth shut because it feels safer and you're less likely to get rejected that way. There's a few reasons why this could happen. This could happen when, as a child, you felt like your emotions were never validated. For healthy emotional development, it's based on parental attunement and secure attachment. If you were a kid and you grew up with your feelings being invalidated and you were told that feeling a certain way was wrong, or you just weren't taught what healthy emotions were, then you begin to feel invisible. And then that feeling of invisibility carries on into your adult life. Your body language and the way you speak about yourself can then contribute to you feeling even more invisible. The feelings of invisibility can also be caused by the rejection wound, which can come from our parents, but also schoolyard bullies, or just the general feeling of not fitting in. And if you're an INFJ, neurodivergent, or just simply different, then well, of course, you're not going to fit in because you're different. And we should celebrate these differences, not poo-poo them. As a child in school, that can feel like the end of the world. Those wounds can be deep and they carry on with us into adulthood. I honestly feel like I could go on and on about this. There's so much I could say about why you might feel invisible, but I think it varies between person to person and there's just so much to unpack here. This is the sort of thing that we can discuss in therapy sessions. If you wanted to book an appointment with me, you can use the link in my description. Let's talk about a few things that you could do to help yourself feel more visible. 1, start a YouTube channel. Just kidding. Maybe. Number 2, begin working on your rejection wound and do some inner child healing. In my counselling sessions, I like to use a therapeutic technique called internal family systems, which is essentially parts work. And it's so powerful and such a beautiful technique that you can use for healing. I really think we need to look at what happened in your childhood and begin hearing from these different parts of yourself. 3, learn to embody your physical body and take up space. This can be really difficult for the INFJ. In fact, it's one of our weaknesses, our biggest weakness. And and something that you need to be constantly aware of and working on. You can check out my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 video, which is a simple technique you can use to engage all 5 of your senses. It's important to also learn about your emotions and where you feel it in your body and what that looks like. Is it on your heart, your stomach, your head, your shoulders? Again, this is all individual and it's going to be different person to person. 4, connecting with like-minded people. This was a game changer for me. I was able to find a community of people who were also introverts, and some were INFJs or neurodivergent people. There's just something about being with a group of people who get you, where you don't feel like you need to wear a mask and you can be completely yourself. When people understand you and what you're about, they're a lot more patient and willing to listen when you're expressing your thoughts and opinions and ideas. This feels so good. 5, work on your self-worth and self-compassion. Of course, this comes back to inner child healing and parts work. Really look at yourself and your inner child. Do they feel loved, seen, and heard by you? 6, building effective communication and assertiveness skills. This is not something that comes natural to people, and probably in particular INFJ people, but it's a skill that anyone can learn. When you learn to be assertive and set healthy boundaries, then people are more likely to listen. I have a whole video on assertiveness skills with a workbook that you can check out. I highly recommend that you watch this. Go ahead, click on this video, learn about what assertiveness is and how you can implement it, and I'll see you over there. But first, let me put my cloak back on. It's time to be invisible again. Okay, now you can click on it. So I'll see you over in the next video.